Hi, my name is Dhalia Kash. I'm a burlesque and drag performer, and I'm based out of Portland, Oregon. I started my burlesque and drag career in the Bay Area, and very proud of my roots, very proud of where I came from. Um, I want to talk to you today about what it means to be a burlesque and drag performer and how to get into the field if it's something that you're interested in doing. Um, I've been a performer pretty much all my life. I've been on and off stage, whether that be in play productions, whether that be dancing, singing. Just I've always been a really artful person, so that's just something that I kind of slipped into by attending different events that I saw around town. And I know that normally what you don't see within burlesque or even drag sometimes is people who are plus size. You don't see a lot of people who are fat in the industry, at least not up front and center. There are a lot of us working behind the scenes. There are a lot of us who are producing and who are creating events for people. But sometimes, yeah, even that comes at the risk of not being able to do what you want to do specifically for yourself. It takes those of us that go out and decide to create those spaces for others, to create those spaces for fat bodies to move freely. And there needs to be more of that. And the only way that we can have more of that is more representation within the drag and burlesque community when it comes to performers and when it comes to producers. I so if you're just hearing about drag, I don't know, you're living under a rock because it's like the biggest thing happening right now. Um, Burlesque, also, a lot of people are getting into it. But if you haven't heard of these things, what is burlesque? So, burlesque is a type of performance art, and it can range anywhere from comedic art to very serious nature, to dark, to very light, to classic. Um, and it's a style of stripping. Um, it's a style of stripping. Um, a lot of people will kind of sweep under the rug that's exactly what they're doing. It's like, honey, if you do this, your ass is a stripper, and that's okay. Um, so you're using your music to tell your story. Um, and that can be any story you want to. As a burlesque performer, I am somebody who is in charge of my own makeup, my own hair, my own costuming, um, and especially being in a fat body because there are not a lot of resources that are provided for us costuming wise. Um, so you kind of have to find your own thing, and find your own resources in order to get what you need in this field. Um, but yeah, the little sparkly people you normally see with the pasties and the rhinestones and shaking their goodies around. There are people that are my size and my color that are doing this, and we'd like more recognition. And I think the best way to do this is something like being a part of this conference. Um, and a lot of people ask how I got started in burlesque. One of the ways I got started is, like I said, I saw people like me. Um, it is incredibly important to me to make sure that I get the word out um, with what I do, because I know that I have the ability and I have the platform to be able to help people see that, hey, fat bodies exist in this profession, and we won't be swept under the rug anymore. Um, and I can thank a lot of that to what I saw when I first started. So when I first started burlesque 8 years ago, I started with a production called Monopoly. I began going to a production that was called Live It Cold Burlesque, and I saw my friends performing, and I got a chance to see more plus size people performing, more fat bodies, and got a chance to see people like me performing. Reuben Burlesque was one of the first groups that I saw, black fat bodies rocking it out. And I am forever grateful for those beings that came into my life, and then to eventually have been a part of that troupe was a great honor to me, and is just, that's where I came from. It's where I got my start. I started in drag pretty much a couple of months after I started doing burlesque. So learning how to navigate drag in a fat body when you don't see that very often is interesting. Navigating burlesque in a fat body as a drag king and not just a drag queen, which is a big thing that people don't know. You know how you see drag queens everywhere lately? There are also these things called drag kings. And what we do is similar. We're just swapping the gender roles, and sometimes not at all. Sometimes we stay in our non-binary roles, which I definitely identify with. Like I said, my biggest inspirations in this is just seeing people who look like me doing this. This is what's been helpful for me. Having that visual and being able to see these things being projected from other performers. So a lot of my inspirations that I got to see within my career, Juicy Delight, Magnolia Black, when they were performing as Magnolia Black. I just really enjoyed watching them. I enjoyed their work. And I am ever grateful for being able to watch them do what they do and continue to inspire me. One of the things that I ask people to do if they want to get started in burlesque, if this is something that seems like it's something they'd like to do, I always ask them to seek guidance, seek mentorship. It's really, really important to not only see people that inspire you, but to be able to create that networking, that webbing that helps to hold you together towards the beginning of your burlesque or drag or what have you performance career that you want to get into, and learn from these people. Keep an open mind. Be a sponge. It's the best thing that you can do in order to get the information necessary, and being able to get in touch with other producers that do the same thing. I myself produce shows, and there's always going to be that kind of question as to where the performer originated from, what's your background, what do you do, what can you bring to the stage, and what can you offer, and how is this work that you're doing helping you out. So all of that are very important things that you have to think about. Seek guidance, seek mentorship. I am available for both virtual and in-person mentorship, depending on where you are in the world. I do come to the Bay Area pretty often, and I'm definitely in the Washington area and in the Oregon area as well. So I make myself very much available to different mentorships within those areas. I also want to talk about movement in a fat body. That is something that they see as being difficult, but you know your body better than anyone else. You've lived in that body. If you've already been dancing and you've been dancing for several years, you know how well your body works. You know what your body can and can't do. And wanting to get into this, if you decide, hey, I really like this and I want to do it full time, you have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Take care of your body, take care of your needs. Hydrating is important, making sure that you're eating when you need to, doing the things to help yourself out are important. So always make sure that you are taking care of your body, and know that doing this in a fat body, producers aren't going to always be willing to book you. That is something that we are working on, creating more body positivity within the community. We've been working on that for a long time now, and more diversity. within performances, I see a lot of thin white bodies in a lot of places that I go, and it gets irritating and it's redundant, and it kind of starts to get you down a little bit on, am I creating something that I'm happy with, or am I creating something for somebody else? And always make sure that you are creating art that is for you, and for the people that you represent, and for your heart. It has to make your heart happy. And what I can say for the most part with Dragon Burlesque is my heart is happy. Um, if there's a point that I wake up and it's not making me happy anymore, I will stop. But 8 years in and I'm still kicking. Um, moving in a disabled body, because I am fat, I am disabled, and as you can tell, I'm also black. So with those different cross intersections, it's harder to navigate this field. I won't lie and say that it's the easiest thing to do. But like I said, people like me are working on trying to create spaces for us. I myself have created a show that is currently virtual called Melange Aquarium POC Variety Show. Um, Within that show, I very much center fat bodies, I center POC bodies, I center queer and trans bodies, and that is um, something that I wasn't seeing up here in Portland, Oregon, the same way that I was seeing in the Bay. And I'm not going to say that the Bay is completely inclusive. I'm not going to say that the Bay is wildly, completely diverse in all of their shows, because there are always people that need to do the work, regardless of where you go. Um, so showing up, fighting, and being seen has been a big part of that type of work. It's basically activism at this point. To try to make sure that fat bodies are seen and fat bodies are appreciated and fat bodies are seen as desirable, because we are. We know that. We know what we have in intimate spaces and how we are looked at. So yeah, producing in this body and with the other fat bodies that I bring to my stages, there are people that are just not going to jive with it, and that's fine. These are not the people you want around you, and it's really that simple. I only want people around me that are going to take the time to take it all in and digest it. And if they're not open to it, I'm tired and I don't want to do the work for that. I want to bring the message to people who want to know. I want to bring visibility. And I think that is the best step that anyone can take getting into this, is wanting to create visibility for yourself and visibility for other people around you that live in a body that's similar to yours, whether that be fat, whether that be disabled, whether that be a person of color. So like I said, providing space for fat bodies has become my goal since I started producing shows, and Melange is one of the shows that allows me to do that. It also allows me to create a space for disabled people that is workable. It's extremely accessible. When I have virtual shows, what I normally do is I'm creating that space for those people who still aren't ready to get out there yet, who are still trying to navigate things within this, pandemic world that we live in right now. Since that's begun, since I was already thinking about becoming a content creator to begin with, it was just kind of an easy switch for me to change up and start doing this work in this way. Melange happens every third Wednesday of the month. We have been like that when we were physically live on stage, and we have not stopped in the virtual world. If you ever want to check us out, we're on Zoom. And you can follow us at Melange PDX on Instagram, and you can follow us on Facebook at DD Productions PDX if you want to check us out. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on IG at Dhalia_Kash. That's DAHLIA_KASH. I would love to talk to people, and I'd love for people to reach out to me and let me know if you'd like to experience any of this drag world performance. If you'd like to be a part of this art, we're always wanting to include more people into this family and watch it grow and see more fat visibility, see more change, see more Black and brown bodies on stages. I yeah, that's all I got for now. Hope to hear from you. Bye.